Yu Jung-hyuk's comment on becoming the 73rd Demon King was a line from Ways of Survival. I watched the reactions of the council members with a bit of excitement. I mean, it was strange. In Ways of Survival, everyone had clearly gone, "Oh." Everyone didn't show the dramatic reaction I expected. Then I heard a voice. "The Demon King of the 73rd Demon Realm. There was a man who spoke such words. Irene and the other members of the Civil Council were in great shock." That brat, when did it wake up? It said it was sleepy and then went away. On the other hand, Kim Dokja felt somewhat stronger. Huh? It was a habit he had since his school days. In important moments of his life, or in moments when his self-esteem fell, Kim Dokja would say, "I am Yu Jung-hyuk." I had a bitter taste in my mouth as I endured the harassment of the fourth wall, who exposed my black history. Damn, I couldn't do anything to this brat. The council member should leave for a moment. I have to talk to him for a while. Aileen thought about something before making a decision. Hah-young and the members of the council disappeared out the door. Aileen dragged a chair over to my operating table. I asked her, "Can you release this first? I'm not in a state where I can talk." However, Aileen didn't release my straps. It meant she didn't trust me yet. "You said you would become the Demon King." "Yes," I nodded once. "Do you know what that means?" "It literally means to be the king of the 73rd Demon Realm, and it means I will receive excessive attention from the other 72 Demon Kings." In fact, I was a bit nervous. I didn't have a very favorable relationship with the Demon Kings yet. Aileen looked at my face and sighed. "I took a peek at your stories while treating you. I don't know what the hell you were thinking." "What's the problem?" "Duke Sistwitz is strong. Maybe even stronger than you think." Eileen's tone was calm, unlike her previous confused appearance. Indeed, there was a reason she survived for so long in the demon world. "It's natural. He's a duke." The dukes were more powerful existences after the demon kings in the demon world. They were located at the top of the demon realm. Some of them had the power approaching the highest level of upper-grade constellations, and they certainly weren't shallow opponents. Eileen's evaluation was fair. "I understand your confidence. I've already confirmed that you have amazing stories." She had repaired my stories and had a certain estimate of my strength. Time was short, so she couldn't identify all the stories I had hidden. She probably saw a few legendary stories at most. This meeting might be because she saw some possibility in my stories. Aileen continued calmly. "First, I need to know that you're a trustworthy person. I will make an oath of existence. The things we talk about here can't leak out." We made an oath of existence with our hands facing each other. It was an oath made on our souls. The person who broke this oath would die from their soul burning up. I had previously made this oath with Yu Jung-hyuk. I opened my mouth. "I don't want you to talk about my identity." "I'm aware of that. Don't worry. All council members who participated in the repair store share the oath." Aileen let out a small sigh, and then opened her mouth like she was whispering. "Our civil council has been waiting for an opportunity to destroy the factory." The factory was the core of the industrial complex and the backbone of its power. Trying to destroy this place was an obvious goal. I had read it in Ways of Survival, but I decided to ask. There was no way to read Ways of Survival immediately, so it was important to get the information directly. Aileen asked, "Are you going to drive out the nobles?" "Yes." "You're a returnee. Why bother interfering with the ecology of the demon world?" "I'm not a returnee." In a sense, there was no word more accurate. "I see." Not all returnee completed the dimensional movement scenario and returned to their hometown. Some returnees failed the scenario and some hated their homes. Those who gave up returning to their homes had to make a new home. No matter how terrible a place was, they chose to live there. "There have been several attempts to kill the Duke," Aileen told me. "It looks like they failed if he's still alive." "It wasn't a bad plan, until they all failed. Some of them were masters from the first Murim, and others were the strongest people on their planet." "How did you get those people?" "It was a similar situation to you. They failed or were expelled from their home scenario." It was a fact I already knew. This was the reason why Aileen treated the exiles. It was a means of collecting stronger citizens to fight against the ruler of the Sistwitz industrial complex. She used the attribute story expert in this form. Aileen shook her head with a slightly weary expression. Most of them couldn't even make it through the escorts, let alone reach the Duke. Are there many escorts? In the factory there are hundreds of barons and lower-ranked nobles. There are 10 earls and 2 marquises. The many escorts were a problem. A lower-grade noble was still more powerful than average incarnations. In addition, all those earl level or above could operate the power of the story. The biggest problem was that the Duke would be stronger than the sum of all the escorts. I replied like it was inconsequential. It's worth a try. The other exiles said that as well. I'm stronger than they are. Yu Jung-hyuk would say this, and I was currently Yu Jung-hyuk. However, Aileen didn't know who Yu Jung-hyuk was. If you really were strong, you wouldn't have failed the scenario. There was no way to refute it right now. The situation was too complicated to explain. Even so, Aileen still had some expectations towards me. First of all, I'd like you to prove your skills. Something like this? I released the straps on me like I had been waiting. The straps broke with a loud sound. Aileen seemed surprised, but didn't panic. The other exiles did that as well. I have to make sure you can deal with the nobles. What do you want? A suitable opponent has visited Sistwitz. Are you talking about the envoy from the Gilabat Industrial Complex? Yes. I laughed. I can see what you're thinking. Aileen nodded. I'm sorry, but this is the only way. The 73rd Demon Realm was currently in a confused state due to the rumors of the Demon King. The meeting between the Sistwitz Industrial Complex and Gilabat Industrial Complex was designed to calm the chaos. The most dangerous enemy is always the closest ally. If I could take advantage of the opportunity to ruin the alliance, it was possible to divide the Sistwitz Industrial Complex. Aileen was looking at the long term and didn't want to miss this chance. Even if it failed, there wouldn't be significant damage. However, I didn't intend to be exploited. Let's make a deal first. Okay. What are your conditions? Please repair my body every time I ask. Of course, it's for free. I had to constantly consume story fragments until my physical body became stronger. I didn't know when a collision between stories would occur. For the time being, I needed Eileen's help. That is nothing if you succeed. That's all? There's one more thing. In fact, this was the main point. Give me a scenario. Scenario? This was the reason why I visited the Sistwitz Industrial Complex in the first place. I need your revolutionary scenario. The Demon World was an area that wasn't popular with constellations since ancient times. It was due to the bad relationship between the constellations and demon kings. In the first place, most incarnations who entered the Demon World were losers. I left the operating room, and the first place I saw was the pub where citizens gathered. Shit, this alcohol tastes sour. The size of the citizens came from all over the place. It was late in the evening. The workers and incarnations who came back from working all day at the factory gathered over drinks. Their faces were distorted from the bitter aftertaste. The alcohol of the Demon World was more bitter than Earth. I remembered reading about it in Ways of Survival. Kim Dokcha thought, who among them is the revolutionary? In the Demon World, the scenario still progressed. The Star Stream didn't neglect the story of any area. In particular, one of the main scenarios here, the revolutionary scenario, was a scenario that the Dukes of the Demon World were also watching. I don't know how you know about that scenario, but it's hard for me to help you right away. I don't know who the revolutionary is. Without the identity of the revolutionary, it isn't possible to transfer the scenario. Do you have no information at all? Even if I receive information, the revolutionary will change every month. Honestly, who would confess to being a revolutionary? It is unknown who is a spy. These were Eileen's words. Still, if my prediction was correct, the revolutionary was definitely among them. The revolutionary scenario is the main scenario of the Demon World. The scenario number is different every time, but those who are welcome during the scenario event is fixed. They are the ruling classes of the Demon World. I felt fortunate to have the fourth wall at this time. I might not have ways of survival text, but it would remind me of my memories. The citizens here remember what happened to the last person who declared himself a revolutionary. That's why you shouldn't poke around people. Everyone will be nervous. Eileen told me this, but I couldn't wait. My body was repaired and I could hold out against the exile penalty, but this was only for a few days. Kim Dokja thought, I have to get the revolutionary scenario so I can go back to the original scenario. At this moment, a strange voice entered my ears. Excuse me, this is the first time I'm seeing your face.